Good timing.
It's good timing. Good timing.
Good timing.
Hey. Yeah. You already know what it is.
It's that time, baby.
I
It's
don't even
that
gotta sing the
time.
hook. Why? Porch Podcast. You already know. Porch Podcast. I got the flow on the Porch Podcast. Let's go. Porch Podcast. Episode 90. Reminder one time, P, that I'm Mr. DJE. I got the cup in my left hand. I'm rocking. I'ma keep go flowing. TikTok, which is a short video. I'm here about an hour. Take your power. It's not sour. Make sure you listen to the flow that we bring. Influential is the man, and I'm doing my thing. I got P on the other side. You got the Porch Podcast cup, right? That 360 here. Influential is the one right here. You know why? The Porch Podcast, come on. It's the Porch Podcast. Yeah. The Porch Podcast, come on. What? It's the Porch Podcast. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy DJE, Mr. Influential, and I'm rocking with my brother, man.
P original, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. And this is episode 90. We call this one N.F.L.
NFL, man. Y'all see them two dots, man. So we can go ahead and get it out the way. Obviously, NFL, National Football League. I got another one I like to think about dealing with the National Football League, though. Kind of the conversation we was having earlier, E.
Yeah.
Not for long.
Yeah. Not for long. That's another one. That's not for long. And but this title here for NFL
right
is Never Fail, Learn. That's it. Never fail. Failure is a mind state, P.
That's right. I agree.
The reason why I'm sitting here and saying that never fail, you learn, is because we have just kicked off week 1. And actually tonight we're starting week 2, Thursday night football. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We're starting week 2 of the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
This preseason started with a lot of turmoil, you know, especially for my team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because the GOAT, Tom Brady, retired at the end of last season.
Right.
He came back.
Right.
Missed the first 11 days of training camp and of preseason and everything, and everybody wants to know where was Tom.
We talking about practice.
We talking about practice. We don't know where was Tom. So Tom was where Tom was. Mm-hmm. You're gonna watch the tabloids. Everybody's gonna click in. Certain people's name just ring bells. Anything that says Tom Brady on it, if you're a fan, you're gonna read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is. So they said he had issues with his family life. Some say he was on The Masked Singer. Some say, he just needed a break. Right. Some say he was having a mental breakdown. However, we don't know what it was.
Right.
Now, I'm using the quarterback Tom Brady and the person Tom Brady because, besides of what happened recently,
okay,
he has the most Super Bowl championships at 7 as a player.
Right.
The only other person who has 8 rings, totally 2 as an assistant coach, 6 as a head, is Bill Belichick. Okay.
Okay.
So the funny thing about it, Tom has 7, Belichick has 8, and 6 of the 7 that Belichick got was with Tom. Right. So we can honestly say that these two got a lot in common.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of common, a lot of history. Yeah,
a lot of history. So when the New England Patriots didn't win their first Super Bowl until 2001, and we're now in 2022, and that franchise has brung home 6, but they've been to multiple. Mm-hmm. See, they brung home 6, but they went to 9, if I'm not mistaken, together. This is a team that we can say even in their defeat, they didn't fail. They learned.
Right. I got you.
Never fail, learn. We know
Right.
it as the National Football League.
Right. Right.
My point of this, we can sit back and look at the things we entertain, we watch, we love, and apply them to our life. When stuff don't work right,
Mm-hmm.
all I'm gonna say is don't take it as a L. You can take it as a L, but
Right.
not a loss.
Right.
Take it as a lesson
Right.
that you learned from.
I agree.
I use this and I'm using these examples because every year when these players didn't succeed to what they wanted to do with their own personal expectations or wanting to win the Super Bowl, most of them I can probably say to say they don't take it as failure.
Right.
They learn from it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I think it takes some time to get to that, because I think what we initially learn in life is winners and losers, plus and minus,
Hmm.
pros and cons, all those different things. You always notice we always kind of lose. I'm sorry. We kind of learn with things being from opposite ends.
Right.
So when you understand, like you just said, you basically, you never fail. You basically learn a lesson in the concept of NFL. You're right. I just think that the main part in that is learning that.
Right.
And I think that the different times where you learn it, if you want to call them, failure moments or moments where you didn't succeed or achieve whatever you were working on.
Absolutely.
I think when you realize, not only what role you played in it, but the effects of what transpired afterwards, you realize that life continues to move forward. Like it's a difference. You know what I mean? Like if you lose, a basketball game or a football game, you could play another game.
Right.
And you have an opportunity to redeem yourself and get that victorious feeling.
Hmm.
But I think that I'm not saying that I encourage losing, but I think that what or failure. I think that what I want to promote to people is that well, what determines failure? Like what defines it, right? So like if you're in a race and you don't win the race, but you finished the race, you completed it, right? You just
Right.
didn't beat the person that actually was in front of you or the person that crossed the finish line first. So you didn't fail anything.
Right.
You didn't win the race, in first place, but you completed it. So if you're training to be in the National Football League or you're training to be in the NBA or
Right.
MLB or any of these things,
Hmm.
that's a major accomplishment just even reaching those levels to even be in those arenas.
Right.
So if you apply that to regular, the average person, you got to kind of take the same approach, in my opinion. You got to
Right.
say, all right, I applied for the job. I didn't get it. I didn't fail myself or I didn't fail the job. I just wasn't the person that got it. I met all the qualifications. I did everything I needed to be able to, put myself in the arena to be able to possibly have an opportunity. So I learned. Okay, the guy that did it or the guy that or the person that actually got it over me, they may have been a little bit better. Or it may have been some other factors that factored into the equation where I wasn't the person who I ended up getting the position or, whatever in life. So I agree with you. That NFL that you're talking about is vital. The reason why I say
Hmm.
not for long is whether you're talking about in sports world or you're talking about in day-to-day life. Things change all the time. You
Right.
know, the what was, the winning formula yesterday
Mm.
may not be the one today.
Mm.
It was a little statement going around, a little saying that people say now, yesterday's prices ain't today's prices.
Right.
Well, the average person should also, factor into the equation that if yesterday's prices ain't today's prices, what you think tomorrow price is going to be. So it's not for long,
Hmm.
right? It's not for long. You can't stay in that place where you think that you failed something and you didn't accomplish something because of the fact that you didn't come out the winner. You got to look at it from from a larger scale. So that's my my thought about the whole NFL element of it, and understanding that, like you said, you never fail, you learn a lesson. You
You
know,
learn.
if you
Right.
stop learning, that's where the problem comes in,
Yeah,
right?
that's when you fail. Because everything that you were
Right.
saying about, and I think this is separation for it. Like everything that you were saying about it was showing up. And y'all, excuse me, I'm just crunching on ice, but showing up, you already didn't fail.
Right.
Just showing up and actually participating. Now, it's different
Absolutely.
levels because you may have personal goals that you're trying to achieve. So
Right.
you can
Like you
say,
eating what you say you eating icy,
yeah, I had ice in my cup.
trying to get your gums is numb. I mean, what's wrong?
No, 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 no. No reason for my gums to be numb. No,
You
no,
might
no,
you might have went to the dentist or something.
no, no.
I didn't mean to cut it off, bro, but you chewing ice, and I don't know. You didn't say you went to the dentist today, so I felt like you was trying to get maybe your gums were asleep.
So what I was saying was,
Right. Okay.
what I was saying for this motherfucker. Um, it's a separate. You may have a goal that you're trying to achieve for yourself.
Right.
So you may say, I failed my goal, but you didn't fail your goal. You actually learned where you, if you know you made your mistake, that you learn at this part. This is where I have trouble at. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but I think what separates the difference is in sports too. People have personal goals, and then they
Right.
have a team goal, and that team goal may be so they may feel that they failed, right,
Right.
as a team, but again, they didn't. They learned where they lacked at. They learned where their strong points was at. Like you don't know until you execute. So that's why I said you didn't fail. Once you showed up, you already didn't fail.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Nah, it's 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 difficult to see at the time because it's not what you envision, right? It's
Hmm.
not the celebration, it's not the all of those different things. Like when you go to the Super Bowl, you win the Super Bowl. To me, it's always amazing how the camera seem to just find the champions, right? Like you might get glimpses of the team that lost. Last season Super Bowl winners. You see the Rams everywhere, right? They focusing on the winners, not to be funny, but that's why I say like when things are promoted or taught a certain particular type of way, that's what winds up happening,
Hmm.
right? So you didn't see a bunch of things about the Bengals. You didn't see a bunch of shots at Joe Burrow or Joe Mixon, or you didn't see a bunch of those things. But I understand you giving all the attention at that point to the winners of the Super Bowl, but it just to me adds to why your NFL you never failed. You learn a lesson. This is why it's kind of you got to learn it later because you're up against a different situation, right? Like when you're trying to compete with all of the champions, get the attention, and those who made it to the championship should be looked at the same light. It's different. It's just like we talked about it before, bro. You got people that get participation awards.
Right.
We talked about, you get perfect attendance when you're in school. You celebrating the fact that I came to school every day. You start to create this thing. If you really think about it, failure is kind of fed by the glorification of winning. And I'm not saying you should never want to win or never,
You
you
the
know,
short term is failure is what you say. You said failure was um
we talking about just now.
yeah, yeah.
Failure, yeah, failure is like
Failure is based
it's
on the accolades you didn't receive.
yeah. So failure is
Mhm.
being so failure. The reason why failure is such a negative, or people run away from it, is because in comparison to winning, right? Like winning is the opposite of losing.
Mhm.
Failure, you would say, if you had to create an opposite word to that, would be success, right? To
Right.
succeed.
Right.
But if I did what I needed to do in life to put myself in a position to even have an opportunity, I didn't fail.
Right.
I just didn't succeed at being, better than the other person if it's a competition. Well, I didn't succeed in other things. So
Right.
what I'm saying is you kind of got to undo the mindset.
That's what I'm
That's
about. There you go. There you
yeah,
go
you got
right
to
there.
undo the mindset of what is initially taught when it comes to failure in learning a lesson.
And the reason why I agree with you so much about undoing the mindset is because, you just said failure is the opposite. The opposite of failure would be success.
Correct.
But the
Yeah.
opposite of right would be left. You know what I mean?
Word.
If you're using sides. Or opposite of right, correct, correct would be wrong. You know what I mean? Um,
Exactly.
um, opposite from up is down, in, out.
You know what I
So
mean?
every, it's just how it is. Now, for everybody who believes those things and knows that all they want is the quote unquote upside or the right side or the, you know what I mean? They want to be in the game, not out the game. You know what I mean? They
Right.
want to be up. They don't want to be down.
Right.
They have a
Right.
problem with balance because
Right.
again, everything has to have that offset. You know what I mean?
Everything.
And I ain't
Everything.
talking about the Migos. I'm just saying everybody got to have
Yeah.
that
I mean,
offset.
even the deepest things, man. What's the
Right.
opposition of life?
I hear you.
What's the opposition of life? What's the opposite of life?
Death.
So what I'm saying is like everything has an opposite, right? So it's what is how you're groomed. It's to think or how to you're groomed to look at things like failure.
Right.
Talladega Nights. What does Dad say? Hey, if you're not in first,
You laugh.
see what I'm saying? Now, even though that was a quote from a movie, that's really how people was teaching people. That's really kind of how it was promoted in terms of failure, and that's why some of those lessons aren't learned. You know what I mean? Even, some of the things. Oh man, the sweet. The victory. What is it? The sweet satisfaction of victory. You know, and then it's the thrill of the defeat.
Right.
And it's just like, when you start listening to these words and how they play into it, you understand why people don't work as hard.
Right.
Right? You understand why people accept things that's supposed to be lessons and just look at them as failures and never make the attempt again.
Right.
You understand it because we're groomed to view life from a win or a loss
Right.
perspective,
Mm-hmm.
a fail or succeed perspective. Within
Mm-hmm.
life, every opportunity is a lesson to learn something differently.
Right.
If that be the case, all the winners of the world were all
You. We gotta listen. We got a little moment here with the P original. That powder got to him. Um, we're gonna try to reconnect with him. Keep cameraman, keep the cameras rolling. Keep the cameras rolling. This is what we need right here. Mm-hmm. That's what we need right here. All right. Yeah. Y'all listen. It's always gotta be P. It's always gotta be P. That's always on something different. So I'm gonna keep coming. He's gonna connect back in. So basically, what we gonna do is take a break.
look, check it out. Let's get that stress off your plate. All right? Got that big event coming up, and you don't want to have to do all the work. I got a company for you, full service event company that's going to take care of all of your event planning needs. That's www.fncevents.com. A full service event planning company. Take all the stress off your head, kick back and enjoy the party. Once again, that's www.fncevents.com. Head on over there, get that party booked, and get it done. Back to the show.
Front and center events. Hey, PP, welcome back, man. What kind of
Thank you,
blast was that killed the
know-
whole fucking connection?
So
Ooh. No, 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 no,
I'm a firm believer.
no, no. Never fail.
I'm a-
Learn. You
I'm
lost
a
over
firm
here off
believer.
that blast, off that one.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and have your potato up. Go ahead. I'm a firm believer when the truth is coming out. Sometimes the power at B try to work against you, man. So front and center events, y'all, for all the event planning needs.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, bro, dealing with the NFL, man. So so in regards to the actual NFL, fortunately, man, we had we had a few, big time injuries, man, that took place, in week one.
Yeah.
And
Dak
I hope that
Prescott,
those, yeah, Dak was one.
T.J. Watt.
Yeah, which I read something that he doesn't need surgery, but the recovery for that is still going to be, probably lengthy. Um, a lot of different people, and hopefully they all recover quickly.
Right.
But the concept of dealing with injury, even with injury being something that is, has more than one meaning, you can get injured in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lesson,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can learn a lesson even from that situation. Um, I can speak to this, I can speak to this very thoroughly in a sense of how things, changed in my life in a way that they abruptly changed.
Right.
And and initially I felt like it was a loss.
Right.
Initially I felt like it was a loss because I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I wasn't psychologically willing to accept that I no longer was capable of doing some of the things that I was, able to do before.
Right.
So in that situation, my failure to be able to recover, I had to learn a lesson. I
Right.
had to learn a lesson. I had to kind of get back into my mindset of understanding that, you know, I was born with a multitude of different talents and abilities. The first thing I had to do was I had to learn how to get out of my own head, and I had to kind of retrain my thinking. Like I was telling you before, I had to undo a not a loser's mindset, but a accepting things that I would consider to be a failure as the end all be all of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I can speak to this situation, this topic tonight, episode 90, from that perspective. My question to you is: did you have an experience, or have you had any experiences where after everything was said and done with it, and you were able to move on from it, that were moments where you felt like I was allowing failure to over let me see, I was allowing failure to speak louder than the lesson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, my second time being married.
Okay. Okay.
So I felt like I failed when I got a divorce the first time. But
Okay.
I learned. For a long time I didn't understand how to learn from those type of situations. You know.
Gotcha.
It was what I would say, never fail, learn, right? That's what I
Yep.
said, right?
Yep.
At that time, I never failed. I was living, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
So,
another good one. That was another.
hmm
That's another good one. You
you
know.
know,
I say that because a lot of times when we having these different topics on here, and I talk to people outside of the show. You know, some of the things that we discuss when I speak to these different people is, you know, yeah, you and E y'all crack a lot of jokes and y'all do a lot of things like that. But the topics that y'all talk about seem a little bit more like personal or more relatable, like it's something
oh,
that you experience. Let me tell y'all something. Personally speaking, every one of these topics, there is a part of us in it.
hmm
There's a part of us in it. We was having a conversation, man, about
hold on.
expectations.
Let me make this one thing clear though.
Go ahead.
Nobody fucks with powder. That's just a joke.
Right.
It ain't got. We didn't come up in a house with that. You know,
No,
forgive
not
us,
at all.
but
Yeah.
there's no truth to that shit. Okay,
Right.
let's keep it
Yeah.
moving. All right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and we've learned how to, be humorous about things.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who knows us, y'all know that most of the time we'd rather see you laugh than to see you cry. You know what I mean? And with that being said, it comes down to us just being in a place where we had to learn some of the
Mm-hmm.
things about, people too, man. I'm like me and E, like we, had a conversation about the expectations of certain people.
Right.
And part of it was everybody can't come.
Everybody can't come.
Everybody can't come.
Nah.
And to clear that situation up, I'm saying from the perspective of it's not even so much like being invited or, actually being a part of certain things. Everybody can't come is built up of a number of different things, right? The reasons are various. They're various different reasons. You you can't bring everybody with you because where you going ain't room. There's not enough room. It's
Right?
just simply not enough room. You can't grow. It's like if you take a plant, bro. You could plant. You could take a seed and put it in a cup or put it in a small plant, small pot. And depending on how big the plant's supposed to be, it'll get to a certain point where it actually starts to outgrow the pot. Like anybody who deals with that kind of stuff will tell you, you got to transfer that plant. It's getting too big.
Right.
And there's parts of that you have to realize in your life. There's gonna be times where you're gonna be in certain places doing certain things, and you're gonna be ready to expand and grow. You're gonna need a bigger pot just for yourself, and that's why everybody can't go. It's not about you excluding them because you don't want to see them succeed. That's why even with the failure and learning the lesson, even
Learn that
that, I
lesson.
would- I want to promote the people that if I move or if you move and if you have a desire to be better than what you are,
Right.
you have to be comfortable with the reality that everybody can't come, and you're not failing those that can't come along with you. And I hope that people learn that lesson.
Right.
I hope they do. I hope they understand that when they're moving and they're doing different things and they're trying to, grow and develop and go on different ventures and go in different places, everybody's mind is not capable of being able to process what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And if you don't act on those things because you're worried about who's going to feel a certain type of way while you're growing and developing,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to wind up failing yourself. Now, in my opinion, that's when failure happens because you're not even trying, you're not even attempting the situation because you're more concerned with who it's going to offend, how it's going to bother them, how much room is going to be in place for them to come along, and you fail to even make the attempt. Even though you just making the attempt could have been life changing, just
Right.
like some of them brothers in the NFL.
Just showing up. Like we
Just
said.
show, just
Showing up
like
is
some of them brothers in the NFL,
mhm.
trying to be homeboys with everybody, trying to be, in the scene and bring everybody along with them. And they
Mhm.
have a golden opportunity to take those things that they worked on all of those years
Right.
to me, to put it in place and be compensated for it and be a major difference in a lot of different people's life. But they fail. They don't learn that lesson early on. We
Early
talked
on.
about, man, we talked about this, bro. We talked about like, I'm not, I'm just talking about this, y'all. It's just my opinion. Even with the
Absolutely.
situation like with Lamar Jackson. I like
Right.
Lamar Jackson. I think I don't know him personally, but from what I understand, him and his mother, are basically the people who manage him. And
Right.
I'm not saying that they're not capable of doing that. But what I am saying is I think that there is a certain point where you have to say to yourself, what's outside of the scope of your expertise.
Right.
And if you don't do that, you may fail to get the things done in a way that could be a blessing to not only yourself, but those that you can impact in a positive way. And in those failure moments,
Absolutely.
you don't want to learn that hard lesson because that is
Nah.
a very difficult lesson to learn.
That's an expensive lesson.
You know what I mean?
What's my man that played was playing in the NBA? Played for the Lakers for a little bit. Little streak in his hair. Played for Oklahoma City. They offered him like 84
Oh,
million.
Dennis Schroeder.
Dennis Schroeder.
Mhm.
He turned it down. Ain't never seen another offer after that.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? No. He went to he went somewhere else and wind up getting less.
Yeah.
And they gave that bread to somebody else. I meant to tell you too. I don't know if you've seen it. It's been a while. You see who on the Sixers now, right?
Wait a minute. Don't tell me because I just, yeah, Montrez. Yeah,
It's on,
Montrez.
baby. We
And
got
you,
Montrez
and you
and
got
Lake,
PJ, don't you?
and we got PJE. We
Yeah.
get ready to turn it to the straight Goonies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But the
And really,
leader is on LA.
come on, E. I was getting ready to
It's
say Patty
Pat
B, man.
Bev, man.
Yeah, man. Patty
He's the
B,
leader.
man. Pat
Yeah,
Bev, man.
yeah,
Shout out to my man Pat Beverly, man.
yeah. The
Get
Goonies,
ready to
like
make
you
it.
said.
Yeah, just get ready. Goonies, man. Yeah, for real.
Goonies.
Yeah, for real, Broad Street bullies.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
getting ready really go down like that.
PJ
But now,
Mask. I mean, damn. PJ Mask. That's a cartoon. PJ Mask off. With your mask off. Future.
it's that blast.
Did
That
you see
PJ
what I
that
sent?
PJ blast
Did
made
you
you
see
think
the
about
shit they
PJ
said?
Masks.
The little video they got out about with Gino when he hugged my man at the end of the game.
Nah,
You know, good game smack. He's the whole palm. Like, whoa, what? Gino
no.
going too far, man.
So we've never had a discussion about that.
Yeah,
But
it did. Good game, huh?
I'm with it. I'm with it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So so
That's an epic fail, in my opinion. You didn't learn a lesson from that.
no.
I'm not saying you never can fail, but the mind frame is never fail, learn. That's what we're
Okay,
trying to
y'all.
get you to do.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set it up and let E break it down. Like it's only E can do it. I gotta throw the ooh.
All right, let me see if I can grab it.
Simple question. Simple question. How do you think the mindset of the person was that did that the first time it was done, from the person who did it and the person who had it done to him? For clarity, y'all, we talking about the pat on the backside that sometimes you see jokers give when it's a good play or a good game or something. Be careful, E.
I don't know how that was created, P. Not even gonna try to figure that out. Oh yeah, that's the clap. It's not even funny. You put the crickets on for him, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it was your. Oh, you ain't want to try to go on that. You didn't want to try to take that avenue. Nah.
P, look at my face.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'll say.
What you
I'll
think?
say- Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think what happened is in the midst of excitement. I don't think it was initially intended.
Right.
I don't. I think like a lot of things that transpired or took place in life, I don't think it was initially intended. But I think when it happened and then the lack thereof a reaction created that the normal.
Right.
Make sense?
Right.
That's my explanation for it. I don't think that it was intended. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. Now, for a person that looks at it now and tries to really define why they're uncomfortable with anything like that, that's cool. Everybody got their own feelings and personal opinions about things.
Right.
You got people, man, that, it's a number of things that they offended by. I've learned in life, man, that the list of things that people are offended by is just as long as the one that they're not. And it
Well,
always different, and it's different with different people.
absolutely. And it's also just like what we were talking about failure and winning. Like, okay, the odds for you to fail in anything, if you're only looking at one person as being successful, is high. It's 32 teams in the N.F.L. So that in
Correct.
their eyes, 31 teams going to fail.
Wow, that's an awesome point. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they failed.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that they failed. They learned. You know,
Exactly, bro.
I'm gonna say the motherfuckers that was ranked 32 might feel
Okay.
like they failed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because they ain't even got to learn, bitch. They got to get a whole new book. That's why they dump everybody up off the team. But did Cincinnati really fail last year?
No, because they was better than everybody
Right.
else in the AFC. They could turn
Right.
around and say we was the
He's the
AFC
AFC
champ.
champs, right? You know what I mean?
So how if we was two champions battling
Yeah.
out to see who was the overall champion? How I'm a failure if I'm a champ going into a championship?
Now, where I do believe they failed,
Okay.
okay, is their thing was to get a stellar offensive line.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that the line is. Let me take that back, because I didn't watch the game Sunday at all. With what was it, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't watch. The this game at all. But is it something that Burrow's doing? Is he holding the ball to him? Because I think he got sacked like 6 times.
It was a lot of turnovers in that game. I
Right.
can't give you all the details of how many turnovers it was, but he had a really bad game, from what I
Right.
understand. Yeah, I mean, it's like this, bro. You just made the best statement in terms of the whole concept of being 32 teams in the NFL. One is a champion. If you think that 31 teams are failures because it can only be one champion. Like, where's that come? Like, think about it from the perspective. You know, at week one that it's only going to be one champion at the end of it.
Right.
But you ain't playing. If you don't win the Super Bowl, you don't be like, I'm a failure. No, like nah, like
Nah, it's not.
how
No.
you're
You know what
not
I mean?
how are you a failure if you're a professional?
Right. See, it's the thing.
They're professional football players. What do they ain't failing nobody in the house that they take care of.
Right.
Everybody that they need to provide for financially
Yeah.
is being taken care of.
Right.
Where's the failure?
Yeah. No, there is none. And for people who believes that, you got these athletes with these mind frames, if I don't win it all, I ain't win it all. You know what I mean? Like, damn, did anybody ever say that? If I don't win it all, I ain't never win at all.
Yeah,
I ain't
Talladega
win at
Nights
all.
that. That's
Yeah.
exactly who said it. If you
Yeah.
ain't first, you last.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. But I like how I said it. However, I get that mind frame. I get that. I get that, right? I get that shit. Where's mine? Right? I get it. But the
Yeah.
fact of the matter is, everybody who got over the hump the next season or the season after that or sometime in their career got over that hump, they learned from every time a bitch said they failed. They learned.
Yeah.
That's what got them there.
Yeah.
Because if I don't win it all, I ain't got it all. What I say before a few minutes ago?
Nah.
That just made me sound like I was crazy.
Nah.
I said
No,
if I
it's
ain't, I said if I ain't
what
win
I
it
realized
all, I
about
ain't
you
win
is
at
you
all.
be on a roll, right? You be good,
Yeah.
and I know what happens, man.
What?
I know what happens.
What's
you
that?
be so deep. You be so deep in your thought
Yeah, I hit the threshold.
that you that it's like when you the red line you was talking about when you driving a sports car.
Yeah.
It crosses, boom, and then it just blow out. And when you try to go back and get it, you don't know where it went. It's like your hat blew up. Like it might be way back there, man. It might be way back there. That's what it be, bro. Cause you be rolling.
I'm just saying though, if I ain't win at all, then I ain't win at all. That's my new shit, man. I like that. That mean I ain't failed though.
I don't know, man. I mean, because the way you saying it, if I didn't win,
If I ain't win at all, I still won it all. That's what I'm gonna say. I still
you
won
can
it
go with
all.
that. I think
I
that
still
that's
won
a
it all.
little
If
bit
I ain't
more-
win it all,
that-
if I ain't win it all, I still won it all.
yeah, I think that's more in alignment with what we're
Yeah.
trying to promote to the
That's
people.
what I meant to say.
Because the other way,
But some people, that's what I said. Some people be saying that if I ain't
Okay.
win it all, I ain't win at all. I just made that up. But I know some people that think like that. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't never heard nobody make that shit up.
nah, but I know they think it. They might
Right.
not just been as clever, clever enough to put it all together like you just did it. But I'm quite sure they think from the perspective you just said. Nah, man.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to get you some this or that's this week, man.
Yeah, this or that's, this or that's, this or that. I mean, you ready for this or that's now?
That's good. It's a little early. We can come back to it. All right, we come back to it. So
I'm just we about 40 in. We about 40 in. So
okay, all right, 40-ounce bounce. But look,
yeah,
so
about 5 more minutes at least. You know what I mean?
absolutely. So, but the statement that you just made when you fixed it, you said your new statement is, watch this, y'all. What did you say your statement was?
If I ain't win it all, I still want it all.
There you go. Not cleaner this time.
I still want. I'm gonna say not even say want it all. I want it all. If I ain't win it all, I still want it all. But I want it all.
Right.
But I want it all.
I agree.
And I'm a ball.
And I agree. And I think
And take
that,
it to
like
the
you
stall.
said,
Get in the
That's
jaw,
right.
son. And
it's when you learn what you actually doing something for. You crazy. What you actually doing something for. Then you can truly determine whether or not you failed or not. In my opinion.
You have to have, basically what we're saying to you is this. We understand, I'm going to say this. I understand why people think they failed because they had a goal. And their goal was to be as successful as the accolades that's in whatever that is. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where their mind frame is because they're focused on the accolades. But if you didn't have if you didn't have something that you won, you would basically say, well, I want to do my best. And if you know you
Right.
did your best, you didn't fail.
Right.
You just learned where you could have did better. So
That's
for
it.
a perfect example, when you look at the richest men in America, it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like, okay, it's always Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say at the end of the year, they say Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Did Buffett and Bill Gates fail? No, they ain't fail on that level, because there's no number that says we're going to. You are the richest ever if you hit $294 trillion or some shit like that. You get what I'm saying? There's no number that
Exactly.
says that. So they didn't fail. But that particular year, they weren't number one. So for some people, that might be the accolade that they have to be listed as number one, and people know that they're number one.
I just once I think that, like you saying, bruh, it takes time for us to really kind of gather that because the way it's early, it's promoted early in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we identify, like you made a lot of key points, but the last two, one of the ones about being 32 teams in the NFL, at the beginning of the season that it can only be one Super Bowl champion, and yet, as I, engaged and elaborated on that situation by saying, if I'm in the NFL and I could provide for my family, and I open up opportunities for people in my family to go to college or start businesses, or put them in a position where they're in better, positions overall, I don't see how I could fail.
Right.
Like, I don't see how I could fail. Like, I think that, like a person, if you turn around, even keeping it in the sports world, just for professional athletes, AI don't have no championships. I don't think he failed in the NBA.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Charles Barkley don't have any championships. I don't think he failed in the NBA.
Mm-mm.
He was part of the dream team. He didn't win he didn't Super Bowl. He didn't win an NBA championship in our National Basketball Association, but he was amongst the players who won overall in the world.
Right. Right.
How do you call a person who accomplished that a failure because they didn't succeed? That's like the equivalent of me winning something in my own neighborhood, or not winning a championship, or winning something in my own neighborhood, but I go play in the Olympics or somewhere big and I win.
Right.
What are we really gauging it on?
What?
I think
What?
as we get older, we figure out what failure truly is, but it is
Absolutely.
still a mindset adjustment
It's
thing.
some.
I
It's if winning is
understand
a
why people think that.
if winning is a mindset, then failing got to be one. It's that simple. And what we basically sit here and we saying is, yes, we understand when these guys are 20, 22, 23 years old and they playing in this professional sports league, whatever. The accolades is the measuring stick. So what the measuring stick creates the motivation for them. You understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Hmm.
And all that does is give. So, like, I just think about what I just used with the money. Nobody cares if Elon Musk is the richest this year, Warren Buffett's the richest the next year, and Bill Gates. You know why? Because most
Mm,
people gonna say they all got more money than me anyway.
exactly.
So it doesn't matter. That's not something that. But they don't. Okay, I got bragging rights for a year. We don't pay attention to that. But let's say that right now the Rams, regardless of how they played week one, they're still the Super Bowl champions right now.
Right. That's right. That's right.
You know what
That's
I
right.
mean?
Yes. Yes.
So
I mean,
that's how it
you're right. E.
goes.
No, you're right. E. You're right. But once people understand the NFL, and since it gets so much attention and so many people pay attention to it, me myself included,
Mm-hmm.
um, once you start taking those letters and you put it into a different perspective, like he said, the NFL we talking about is you never fail, you learn a lesson. You know, if you apply that and you learn those things in life, you start putting them in place. I think that what you'll do is you'll deal with is less frustration in your life.
Right.
You'll understand that in terms of what failure truly is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and what a loss is and what a lesson is. I think once you truly identify the difference between what people view them as in terms of sports and competition, and you really apply them to what you actually deal with in your life, I think you'll find out that you're more of a success than you
Yeah.
really than you
Yeah.
really know.
Listen, we win more than we lose. You see what I'm saying? We win more than we
Absolutely.
lose because we learn. However, if you're measuring a win, again, I get this most common one. If I invest, I expect to make a profit.
Right.
So if you invest 500 and you made 500, you got 500 back in $1, then honestly, you won because you made $1. You might have put a lot of work in to make
Right.
$1,
Right.
but you may not look at um
You didn't
something
lose.
being something right, but you
If you
may
was in
not
it to make money, you made $1. You didn't fail to make $1. You
right.
didn't fail.
But some people
You did.
may measure the win of doubling their money.
Right.
See, most people, because that's why even with your rappers, I turned 2 into 4, 4 into 8, turned 8 to 19. Damn a nigga straight. Like you might hear somebody say some shit like that, because now they went from 8 for instead of 16. I done maximized my profits. Like you know what I mean. But honestly,
Yeah.
when you turn 2 into 3, you really won.
Exactly.
Still won. You
Exactly.
know what
The
I mean?
fact
So
that you can even play the game, you still won.
right. Mm-hmm.
Opportunities. When a win is when an opportunity presents itself and you're able to even partake in it. The
Right.
loss is, or the failure is not being prepared to enter those things when the opportunities present themselves. You
Right.
failed to be prepared for the opportunity when it presented itself. It's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what you get involved with, whether you're investing money, you're investing time, at some point or another, you're going to learn something differently.
Right.
It is what it is on it. You ready to get into that? These questions, brother?
Yeah, this or that, or would you rather?
We're going to this or that, this or that.
And welcome to another episode of This or That. When I'm right back, P Original asks me some questions. Either I'm going to do this, either I'm going to do that. But either way, we'll be right back. Let's get to the show.
All right, my brother, since you did the intro and you broke it down how it all goes down, I'm going to go ahead and get right to the questions.
Hmm.
TV series or movies?
I'm more of a TV series guy nowadays.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think movies rush the story.
I agree.
If
I
you
agree.
if you really sit back like right now, I have to have to pay attention. But um,
Hmm.
besides the business of ratings and streams and people making more money, because I know why a lot of things within that. And when we finish this or that, I'll go back to it. But I think New Edition said it best when they came out with the New Edition story on BET, and
Okay,
it was a three night thing.
okay.
And
Yeah, I
everybody
remember that.
said,
I remember that.
"Oh, why didn't you make the movie like Biggie or Tupac or this and that?" And they said we felt like our story had to really be told, and it wouldn't have been right for hour and 45 minute
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
So
It's tough.
we broke it
Yeah,
down into 3 hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. If you take out the advertisements and stuff like that, the
yeah.
average hour show has 17 minutes of advertisements. So they was on for 2 hours. That's basically half an hour, 34 minutes of advertising. So,
Gotcha, gotcha.
but many TV series, yeah, TV series. Like I
Appreciate you.
said,
Well,
I
you was
step
breaking the math down.
and I touch on that at the end. Yeah, on the
Okay,
show, on the conversation, not on.
gotcha. Make
Yeah,
sure it's the only thing you touch. All right,
yeah, all
so
right.
you know what I mean. So on that tip, fantasy or drama when it comes to that, fantasy or drama?
uh, Drama.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's a little
I
bit
think
different.
I just think that comes from naturally just when we look at real life, we focus on drama.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
as much as we as much as we act like we don't like negativity, we attract to um we
Controversy,
we attract to
um,
controversy. We attract to
adversity, people being in tough
adverse.
spots, and all those
Right,
things. Yeah,
like
you're right.
okay, perfect example. Every
Hmm.
day I see something. I can't remember the young man's name. Right, first
Hmm.
youngest black pilot ever. I shared it on my page the other day or whatever. Right,
Okay.
average person don't know that. But sad to say, you know, we all know that we lost P&B Rock on Tuesday,
Right.
and it's because it was a tragedy, right? But we're addicted to drama.
Yeah. So
So
more of a drama than fantasy.
right, if we watching drama in real life, we're watching it in show form.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just health wise,
Mhm.
fruit juice or smoothie.
Um, it depends what mood I'm in. Honestly, you know. Um, I believe the juice is healthier though, because I think in both of them you got to pay attention. You talking about like a fresh juice, like not the smoothie, not the thick smoothie. You talking about a fresh juice. You know what I mean? Um, you got to be careful because a lot of people, because they want theirs to have extra flavor to it. I don't think they realize sometimes they add a little splash of this, a little 2, 3, 4 ounces of this. Okay, you added something that's honestly, 1 can has an 8 ounce can has 20 grams of sugar. You know what I mean, or
It's
60.
funny.
But
We so much alike. Like this or that is always going to be difficult because we'll never just say
nah, no,
we always going to
no.
elaborate on
I
our
li-
reason for selecting that.
I live for that part.
Yeah.
When I used to
Okay.
drink a lot of fruit juices, big or vegetable juice, I would
Right.
have I would have celery, kale, spinach, and a carrot and carrots in it. And everybody's be like, "What you gonna do for sweetness?" I don't. I'm not. I want that.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah. So
It's what you like.
juice. Yeah, it depends. But most of the time it's juice. Cause Smoothie Kings and all that type of stuff. I'm not saying they ain't better options, but
I don't drink none of that shit. I just eat an apple. If I want to eat something like that, I pick
well,
the apple or eat the apple.
nothing's better than whole fruit.
Yeah. Smoothies and all that. I don't know. TV wise, we jump back on TV real quick.
Mm-hmm.
History or science fiction?
I think I'm a history guy because I'm a fan of documentaries. See, back when we were younger, when we would think of history, we think they gonna talk about World War One or Pearl Harbor and all that. Like, no actuality, I ain't want to hear about that shit.
Yeah.
But like right now, Hulu they got Mike or they show the Wu Tang series. That's still history,
Yeah. It
and
is.
I attracted it. Science fiction, yeah. I'm cool with science. I don't know, but I think history. So more
History.
documentaries, yeah.
Got you. While sleeping at night, fan or no fan?
Fan is the man.
Gotta have that,
I
man. I
gotta
agree
have a
with you, bro.
fan. I
Gotta
just moved
definitely.
myself to a room at my job where the AC has to stay on 365 days and 366 on the leap year. Boy, that's about to be my space.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice. Yeah, I think it's always easier to,
Breathe.
warm up if you're cold
Yep.
versus the other way. Um, if you were moving, and the only two places that you can go would be either living in LA or living in New York. Which one?
New York, man. I'm an East Coast guy. Sometimes people act like they don't like the winters, but I like the winter. It's crazy, bro. When we came up and we all thought about moving at one time or another out of state, most of us, I say 90% of us always thought about running south,
Yeah,
not west. You know what I mean? And nothing against them. It's just what we know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Nah.
Because I
It's
don't think a lot of people who live on the west want to move east. I think they're cool with it never rains in Southern California. I think they more
yeah.
cool with that.
I think they're good with being where they at. Like you
Right.
said, I think when you live on a particular coast, you get accustomed to it. It is what it is on that. But all right, carpet or wooden floors? You like carpet or wooden floors?
Um, I used to be a big fan of carpet, but I think wooden floors. But wooden floors is more of a upkeep. It's a task. It's a job. But carpets, I think, hold more dust and germs, whether we realize it or not.
That's the part now that I'm starting to notice. Like, my wife want to get rid of all the carpets in the house. Now,
Mhm.
I'm a person, and I know some people may not. I don't walk barefoot even in my own crib.
Yeah.
Only time I don't have no socks on in my house. I don't care what season it is when I go to bed. I can't sleep with socks on.
Not me.
So,
I don't like.
but as far as the
Gotta
hardwood
be
floor,
gotta be faded off for me to fall asleep with my socks on.
gone,
Yeah.
gone. You know what I'm saying?
45.
Would you rather? Of course. Shout out to
Blasted.
mom. Now
Yeah,
mom would say 45.
blasted.
Would you rather be 5'2" or 6'9"?
I listen because I'm only 5'6". I'll go with the 6'9". I'll try the opposite way.
Okay. All right. Um, I think we already asked it, but I ask it again. Workout at home or workout at the gym?
Depends what mood I'm in. I'm in both. Now, if you talking about calisthenic workout or actually lifting and doing all that, I'm gonna have to go to the gym.
I
If you're talking about
Yeah,
like cardio, I
yeah,
enjoy outside better.
yeah. I think you got to find a way to make it an even playing field. So, in essence, you would have to have everything that you have at the gym that you would utilize at home for it to truly be, you know what I mean, or this or that.
Hmm.
Um, if I had everything in both spaces, the thing about me when it comes to any working out is it's hard for me to work out with someone. Um, I can work out with you. It's just I be so into what I'm doing that I don't know if it's easier for me just to go ahead and go for the run or the walk by myself. Get it over with. You know, when I look at it, some people look at it as a relief or a release. Like every morning, bro, I walk every morning.
Hmm.
Every morning, I'm out there. There's some mornings where I want to be on the phone, so I'm actually talking to people, doing different things. And then sometimes I don't be on the phone with nobody. I just want to actually hear the birds or hear the cars going by or shoot a video and do all of those different things. So it all depends to me on what you're trying to accomplish and what you actually, in terms of your workout at that moment. Sometimes it's being done, to work on the mind, and sometimes it's being done to work on the body. So I think it depends on what I'm working on at that moment. Um, I didn't even want to ask that. That's that's just not you. Uh, well, I'm gonna ask this one, and we'll make it the last one. And I already know the answer to it. Late night snacking or Facebook stalking?
Oh, late night smacking. I mean, smacking. Sm- Smickety. Eh, s- Smickety smack. Smackety.
Yes.
Smickety.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That definitely was the last one. We
Yeah,
gotta go
yeah,
off on
yeah.
that one. That
Let's
was great.
handle the late night smickety. This was another episode of this or that. You know what I mean? Now that we figured out that I'd rather do that late night smickety, we can get back to the show. Smickety.
Oh man.
Man, this has been a great episode, bro. Listen,
Oh
P. And
man.
if at first you don't succeed,
Try again. And that
yeah,
wasn't a fail at all.
nah. Like I said, late night. Oh man, late night smack. I said that shit strong too. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Man,
hey, hey,
listen, hey,
hey,
man.
hey, hey,
Yeah,
hey, hey. Wait,
yeah,
please. Let me say this. All right, I know this or that is officially done. But shout out to Cuz, the B. I
yeah.
gotta say the one this or
Smickety.
that. The one this or that he asked me one day.
Yeah,
He said, Cuz, would you rather be stomped out or mashed out?
yeah. Damn. Either way, when I get up,
I'm gonna pick this Bluetooth up.
tooth up, right? Listen, man, I'm your boy DJ E, Mr. Influential, man. This has been episode 90. And we call this one, man, NFL, man, NFL. You know what
Yeah,
I
man.
mean? I ain't got much to say. Just let y'all know, man. Y'all can catch us on all the
Oh
streaming
man.
podcasting sites, all of them. You know what I mean? Stitcher, uh,
Radio Public,
Apple
Overcast
Podcasts,
Radio, Apple
Overcast Radio,
Podcasts,
Red Circle,
Amazon Music, Red
Audible,
Circle. Yup.
iHeartRadio,
Yes, sir.
Google Podcasts.
Yep. And
You know
like
what I
you
mean?
already said, as of course you can always, actually catch the show and see us on YouTube on
Right,
Thursdays at 7 p.m.
right,
Um, I want to shout out once again, or I want to bring back up the page that we got going on with my family, man. Raining Rainies on the rise.
right.
Raining Rainey's on the Rise. Make sure y'all check that one out, man. If y'all don't know what it's about, it's a combination of different things, man. It's my family, travel. We dealing with fitness. Obviously, dealing with the motivational thing on my personal page at the original 1996 on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just a collaborative effort with my family, man. Good times, laughing, vlogging, all those things. If you haven't had a chance yet, please check it out, man. Once again, it's Rainey's on the Rise. And it's actually that on Instagram as well. Yeah, I gotta get that information for you. So you can put it on the screen, man, and be
Mm-hmm.
able to let them see how to get to it, because that's a direct link.
Direct link to
So
Rainy
as we
Rainey's
say,
on. Right.
Rainey's on the Rise.
Right.
As I say each and every week, man, we want to just thank you guys for taking the time to tune in and rock out with us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Most importantly, enjoy the show. This has
Mm-hmm.
been episode number 90. NFL never fail. Learn a lesson. Look forward to seeing
Just
y'all
never
next week.
fail to learn, man. You put the double F, you putting the LL, the ladies love James Todd Smith shit on there, man.
I'll talk to
Never
y'all next
fail
week,
to
man.
learn, man. All right.
You know,
That
I talk
blast
to
starting
y'all.
to kick in, man.
Yeah, that blast starting to kick in. Oh,
Yep, there you go. He admits it. He admits it. Thank y'all for tuning in. We see y'all next week, man. We
Yeah.
out, man.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
okay. Yeah, peace.
Peace.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They know who the blast is.